Planet Earth is on a ticking time bomb when it comes to making sure that green wins. Andrew Harrison, chairman of the tech community at the European Data Center Association, and Alex Rabbetts, MD also at the association, join me now to talk through Europe's most challenging period when it comes to renewable energy. Guys, thanks a lot for talking to me. Let's start with, is renewable energy one of the biggest challenges for data center operators in Europe at the moment?
It's certainly a challenge. I wouldn't necessarily say it's the biggest, but a lot of the operators are actually progressing very well with moving towards use of renewables. I think more importantly, they're trying to reduce the actual demand in the first place, and that's the key.
Okay. But do you think there's, for example, some sort of misconception or misconnection between the market where you have colocation operators going to the grids, which might not be 100% renewable, but they present themselves to clients as renewable consumers?
Do you want to answer that?
I'm not sure if there's a disconnect. I think a lot of the operators have very strong, cultures and intents to be 100% renewable, but obviously they're dependent on what is available on the local grid as well. So there inevitably have to be some compromises in some locations. But it's been interesting how much there's been a shift towards moving towards full renewables for all the data center operators actually.
Okay. One interesting thing that we learned yesterday at Cloud Monaco this year was that the way hyperscalers build their own solar farms and wind farms, we could sort of see the same sort of investment coming from colocation operators. They could get together to build these massive farms they would just share between themselves. Do you think that's one of the solutions? And do you see these sort of conversations happening?
To be honest, I don't. I think the issue being that the co-location operators are beginning to learn that there are new things coming down the line, so they need to start looking at edge and things like that, which of course is completely opposed to that model. So I think more likely we're going to see more operators coming out and using green technologies in edge type environments than them all coming together in a big kind of like hyperscale type environment.
Okay. Are you concerned that edge? Sorry, you're going to add something.
Well, just I think naturally all of those companies do tend to work and collaborate a lot together. So actually there is a kind of collective influence, even if they may not be particularly coming together to do a singular deal.
Okay. And you actually mentioned edge. Are you concerned that edge might turn out to be as green as it could be, especially we're building everything now? Or?
I think edge has the potential to be very green. I think edge has the potential to.
But is it going that way?
I think it is going that way. I think from what we're seeing, we're seeing companies doing innovations like, for example, building data centers in the base of wind turbines. We've got other companies who are running, because they're smaller, they're running completely on solar. So I think I think it is going that way.
Okay. Would you like to add anything around
just
the
that there's
edge?
more opportunity, arguably, with edge because they are smaller scale, and therefore you've got more flexibility in terms of different energy solutions.
Okay. And then, of course, you guys, the European Data Center Association, you do get in touch with Brussels quite often, so with the EU. What sort of practice are you aware that they have in place to make sure that data centers become more green as we grow bigger?
It's an interesting question. The EU, of course, they have their green program. They have the digital transformation program. They're trying to make us more green, and they're doing that. What we have to be aware of and have to be very careful of is that legislation that's created in Europe is appropriate and applicable to data centres. What happens a lot at the moment is that regulators don't really understand what data centres are, and then try and legislate against them. So we've got to keep a watching brief on what's happening in Europe all the time.
Okay. And the EU Code of Conduct related to data centres and best practice has, I think, been very good in terms of at least giving some guidance for the industry, but not being legislation. So that's very good because ultimately the industry being self-regulatory as far as it can be is a very, very good thing.
Now, when it comes to the EUDCA, beyond energy, what sort of projects are you working at the moment?
So we have a number of streams to what we do. So first of all, we have a global marketing platform which is used by maybe smaller operators who want exposure into larger markets or into new markets that would be unaffordable for them otherwise. We have a policy committee who look specifically at what's happening in Europe. They monitor what's happening. They contribute to what's happening. So they'll contribute to the legislation, that sort of thing. And then of course we've got Andrew with the technical committee.
Yeah, and within the technical committee we're trying to help with white papers on current topics, and very conscious that we've got a lot of operators who are part of the association are very small and some who are equally very large. So trying to make sure we share best practice. We've got some papers that we're publishing at the moment around diesel generators and abatement issues associated with those, the future of maybe battery technologies and what lithium ion can open to us. So things like that where we're trying to maybe drive some discussion and challenge in the industry around what might be next and how we can continue to improve and share knowledge that all of our members have with one another.
Okay. And I do have to drop the B word there, so Brexit, because we're all based in the UK as well, and you'll be very aware of it. Brexit elections, what are the concerns right now when it comes to the UK market? Just very quickly.
So I would say that the biggest concern at the moment is that actually, we've all talked about Brexit, but actually we don't know what that means. And the reality is that we've got things like Privacy Shield, which was a EU drawn up thing. How are we going to be protected from US investigation on our data? Because Privacy Shield will fall away once we Brexit. We don't know what we're going to do about data protection. We don't. It's a completely just a minefield at the moment because nobody knows what's going to happen.
I think equally you could say there's a level of confidence that there's always business change and there's always challenges and people will just walk through it. So there's no real indicators of a problematic environment coming along. I think it's just that uncertainty is very unsettling for everyone.
So nothing has really changed.
No,
nothing has changed. Perhaps nothing will change.
Nothing has changed, but I think the risk is that nobody's looking at data. They're all looking at the common excuse me, what's it called? Common tax
common
thing.
Market.
Yeah, that'll be it. I'll go down well, won't it? But they are. They're all looking at tax. They're looking at boundaries. They're looking at the Irish backstop and everything else. But nobody's looking at data. Nobody actually has looked at it and said, "Well, this is what it's going to mean."
Which is a very dangerous thing to do.
Yeah, it's very dangerous.
But equally could be an opportunity, couldn't it?
Oh, for sure.
And then we are Data Cloud 2019, and let's maybe invert this question because we ask what you're looking at. What would you like to see done at this conference next year? Something different, a topic that's not covered.
I think we have to be talking more about edge.
Okay.
I really do. I think we've got to be talking more about edge.
We do have specific edge conferences for that, if you need.
Yeah, I know, but I think it's applicable to operators here because a lot of the bigger players don't want edge because they don't see it as their model. But the thing is that when you go outside of this environment, outside of this industry, and start talking to people about the future, about 5G, about all sorts of other things, taking the data to where it's going to be consumed and that sort of thing. I mean, they are all talking. They want edge, but we don't talk about it in the mainstream. Yeah, there's specialist conferences, and that's great, but we don't talk about it in the mainstream. We should.
Yeah. Okay. So the two things will start to come together, I would suggest.
Okay. Yeah. That'll be interesting. I'll make sure I pass on the feedback. Okay, Alex and Andrew, thanks a lot for talking to me.
Thank you.
Don't forget you can follow Data.com on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter and Instagram, and also visit the website on www.data-economy.com.